All right, a very good evening to you, believing that you had a good day. I did have a good day. Karibu sana for breaking today. My name is Frederick Muitiriri, and my sign language interpreter tonight is Tracy Dorcas. But first, these are the highlights.
So if it comes to a point where we cannot agree and they continue doing that, we will invoke the provisions of the law that allow us to do what we must do in the defense of peace and stability in our country.
The government deploys a huge contingent of police officers to pursue attackers who killed 2 police officers in Kapedo.
And as we believe in our core value systems, where we promote transparency and integrity. So that's what makes us tick.
Tonight, we speak with KLB Managing Director on the future of the new school curriculum, CBC.
All right, here we go.
And internationally, the Department of Defense in the US is expected to deploy up to 25,000 National Guards troops to the nation's capital a day before the highly anticipated inauguration. All right, welcome to the broadcast. We are live on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube as Switch TV News. Karibu sana. Now, after increased insecurity in Kapedo, that is Turkana County, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has warned leaders propagating conflicts in the areas for political reasons. During a meeting with leaders from northern frontier counties, Matiang'i has warned radio stations around those areas against propagating hatred in the region. Namukana Samuel reports.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has given a stern warning to people he believes killed a senior GSU officer in Kapedo, Turkana County this weekend. The General Service Unit Commander, Emadao Tibakol, was killed in Kapedo after they were ambushed by suspected bandits.
I am asking those who know those people who murdered our senior police officer to surrender them. But if they don't want to surrender them, we will still go for them. We will look for them. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take us. And it does not matter what resources we are going to use. We will get them.
After a 4-hour closed-door meeting with leaders from northern counties over the rising insecurity, Matiang'i said their investigations so far pointed to the possibility of some leaders being involved in the killings.
Which seems to protect negative and criminal armament that disguises, first of all, as cat rustling, but in actual fact, it is funded. And I want to say this, it is funded. We are in hot pursuit of certain people, including leaders.
Matiang'i also dismissed claims by Mandera County Governor Ali Roba that there is an increased number of Al-Shabaab activities in his county.
You know, I don't want to bandy words and start arguments on things that are basically fictitious. And most of it actually a lie.
We should not come back here always talking the same thing, because there are certain historical things that are to be corrected.
The Interior CS, who was accompanied by his permanent secretary Karanja Kibicho, northeastern leaders and county commissioners, also claimed that there are many weapons in the region, all in the wrong hands. Matiang'i further warned local radio stations against propagating hatred among the communities.
But we cannot have some of those FM stations on air that are spewing hate and spreading, anti-government propaganda. Some of it actually in support of neighboring governments that are in conflict with us.
On Sunday, 3 MPs, Ali Lokiru for Turkana East, James Lomenen for Turkana South, and John Lodepe for Turkana Central, found themselves in unfamiliar territory when their village was kept under siege by bandits. Namukana Samuel, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Now to matters politics, where as the campaigns for the Matungu by-election heat up, ODM party fronting David Bwere has today submitted its nomination papers to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. Politicians from ODM party, led by Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, James Orengo and Janet Mohammed, were among those who expressed confidence in Bwere. While asking for peaceful campaigns, independent candidates led by Bernard Wakoli also submitted their papers that had yesterday been rejected. He promised to join the peaceful campaigns. Hopefuls hopeful to grasp the seat, with some of the aspirants taking an early withdrawal from the race on personal grounds. Also, Evans Kakai of UDA submitted his papers.
Ndani ya kwamba wananchi wa Matungu watanipa nafasi, watanipa fursa ya kuwa mbunge wao. Kampeni tutafanya kwa amani, hatutaki vita. Wale wanataka vita watafute constituency nyingine.
I want to assure the party that I'll conduct my campaigns in a fair way, devoid of abuses, devoid of violence, very peaceful election campaigns.
Na mimi nimefurahi kwa sababu ile candidate ambaye tuko naye ni mtu ambaye amekomaa kisiasa. Ni mtu ambaye anaelewa vile bunge inaendeshwa. So mimi naomba watu ya Matungu tusipoteze fursa hii. Tusipoteze nafasi hii ambaye tumepata kuchagua mbunge ambaye atakuja kuendesha mambo ya Matungu kwa njia ambayo inastahili.
I will appeal as a leader from this county that we have peaceful campaign devoid of abuses and violence that is unnecessary, that will harm our people.
Honorable David Were is going to have a proper foundation to build on the record which His Excellency the Governor for Kakamega has been a pace setter.
All right, now President Yoweri Museveni did not win the election. This is according to African Election Watch here in Kenya. The body says President Yoweri Museveni conducted an evident and massive electoral malpractices during the election period, which is a gross violation of human rights. Robert Ouma reports.
On Saturday, Uganda's Electoral Commission announced that the long-term President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni had won the election for the 6th term. The polls body said that the incumbent, who has been in power since 1986, had won the election by 58.64% of the total votes, with his closest challenger Robert Kyangulanyi, famously known as Bobby Wine, winning 34.83% of the votes. This win was, however, not genuine, according to Africa's Elections Watch.
Yoweri Museveni and his administration have, among other things, mismanaged the elections, suppressed the right to freedom of expression through an internet and social media shutdown, used the security forces, including the military deployment, to intimidate members of the political opposition and their supporters ahead of and during the election.
Africa's Elections Watch had more than 2,000 officers who took part in monitoring the elections, but in the process, their systems were shut down due to the internet blackout. According to the election data, more than 7 million Ugandans did not vote for unknown reasons.
This is a massive number which speaks volumes. Further, the overall conduct of the electoral process was marred with flaws and calls for accountability. There are reports of delays of delivery of polling materials to several polling stations, reports of party agents being rejected at polling stations and being intimidated in others, failure of the BVV kits leading the Electoral Commission to resort to manual verification, which in itself would invite further scrutiny.
Observers have likened Museveni's ruling to that of the late Idi Amin, where Ugandans do not have a voice of their own.
The blatant disregard and indeed active muzzling of the people's voices would suggest that it is. The 2021 electoral process has reduced Ugandans to helplessness and the fear, and the Museveni's action obviously seek to legitimize an illegal and a flawed electoral process.
After an in-depth analysis of the just concluded general elections, the body is now calling on African unity to convene talks to be able to restore democratic talks to Uganda, and also the United Nations to undertake measures to allow for transparent electoral processes and accountability in elections. Robert Ouma, Switch TV News.
Africa and other short stories in politics. Now, the Judicial Service Commission has officially announced a vacancy in the Office of Chief Justice following former Chief Justice David Maraga's retirement last week. The special gazette notice issued by Acting Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, who is also the acting chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission, now paves the way for the interested candidates to make their applications. Our reporter Lydian Minor tells us more.
The Office of the Chief Justice fell fell vacant after David Maraga retired upon attaining the age of 70 years and after completing his 4-year term. The office holder serves for a maximum of 10 years or retire upon attaining the age of 70 years or any time after attaining 65 years, which is in accordance with Article 167 of the Constitution. The Gazette notice issued by Justice Mwilu outlined the guidelines of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, which state that the Chief Justice will have a grossly monthly package, excluding benefits of 990,000 as a minimum and a maximum of 1,327,888 shillings. The interested applicant should hold a law degree from a recognized university or be an advocate of the High Court of Kenya or possess an equivalent qualification in a common law jurisdiction. Besides that, one should have at least 15 years experience as a Superior Court judge or as a distinguished academic, judicial officer, legal practitioner, in addition to having high moral character, integrity and impartiality, in accordance with Chapter 6 of the Constitution on Leadership and Governance. Lastly, the applicant should demonstrate a high degree of professional competence, communication skills, fairness, good temperament, good judgment, and demonstrable commitment to public and community service. So far, no candidates have publicly declared their interest in the powerful position, even as Philomena Mwilu continues executing her mandate as the acting Chief Justice until a substantive Chief Justice is appointed. Lilian Maina, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Now we switch gears to United States of America that it will be holding its 59th inaugural ceremony to swear in President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. The event, which will be held at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C., will be unlike other presidential swearing-in ceremonies, marked by surging COVID-19 cases, the January 6th attack on the Capitol building by supporters of President Donald Trump, and Trump's plan to not attend the swearing-in ceremony itself.
Americans and the world will be virtually watching the inauguration of the President-elect Joe Biden and his deputy Kamala Harris at the Capitol building. With growing concerns over security at the inauguration, the Department of Defense is expected to deploy up to 25,000 National Guard troops to the nation's capital. The FBI, local police and other government agencies anticipate further attempts at violent crowd actions in response to Trump's impeachment ahead of his Senate trial. The city's mayor had asked the U.S. Interior Department to deny permits for all public gatherings from January 11th until January. The city's mayor had asked the U.S. Interior Department to deny permits for all public gatherings from January 11th until January 24th, and Airbnb had cancelled reservations in Washington to discourage travel to the ILET area. The Secret Service is calling it a zero-fail mission, vowing the security will be robust with layered fencing and vehicle checkpoints. The entire National Mall in D.C. will also reportedly be closed amid security concerns. On January 11th, the head of the Federal Aviation Administration warned airline travelers that threatening safety could lead to jail time or a $35,000 fine. This followed reports that every airline flying out of the D.C. area had experienced incidences recently. Airlines also rolled out heightened security after the riots and will continue to work alongside law enforcement agencies. Despite his absence, Trump in a social media post asked his supporters to say no to violence. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Joan Kutun.
Still in the U.S., thousands of flags have been installed on the National Mall ahead of Biden's inauguration tomorrow. Workers have helped install hundreds of thousands of U.S. and state flags on the grounds of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where visitors arriving from around the country would normally stand and watch the presidential inauguration. Majibu Ketao reports.
Preparations are underway ahead of U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration tomorrow. Members of the U.S. military, the police, and students from Howard University take part in dress rehearsals for Biden's inauguration outside the White House in Washington, D.C. Thousands of flags wave colorfully in the air ahead of Biden's historic inauguration tomorrow at the National Mall in Washington. Among those expected to entertain guests tomorrow include American singer and dancer Lady Gaga, together with R&B singer Jennifer Lopez. When Biden takes the oath of office at noon on Wednesday, he will face a city under the protection of more than 20,000 National Guard soldiers. Checkpoints and large zones closed to ordinary citizens mean there will be only a smattering of guests. Majibu Kitsao for Switch TV.
Now from the US, we take on a short break, but when we come back, I can see my colleague Cliff is standing by. He has a hot interview that is coming up in a short while. When we come back, direct to business.
All right, it's time to delve into the world of commerce. Good evening and welcome. My name is Clifford Ndubi and we get started. Publishers hold a decisive role in curriculum development. The primary focus of a curriculum is on the nature of the content to be taught. Since the inception of the competency-based curriculum in 2019, What key role do publishers play and what challenges are they facing? I spoke to the Managing Director, Kenya Literature of Bureau, Victor Lomaria, and this is what he had to say. All right, this is Breaking Today, bringing you up to speed on the latest from across the country. And today, for proper implementation of the competency-based curriculum, there should be a very good methodology between the publishers and the implementers, who are the KICD. Today, I sit down with Victor Lomaria, who is the KLB Managing Director, to take us through what exactly they are going to do in the next 4 years, because they did launch the strategic plan between 2020 and 2024, and what are the key focus areas and how they do intend to achieve them. Karibu sana, Bwana MD.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is Breaking Today. You did launch a strategic plan 2020 to 2024. What are you planning to achieve during this period, and what are the key focus areas?
One, we launched the strategic plan in October last year, and the plan supposed to take us for the next 5 years. And the key thematic areas of that plan geared towards, one, ensuring that the institutions' aspirations, commercial aspirations, are achieved in the next 5 years. Secondly, to continue ensuring that the market leadership, which KLB continues to provide, is maintained.
Right.
Yes.
Let's talk about the competency-based curriculum, which was rolled out in 2017. What are your biggest achievements towards its implementation? And maybe you can talk about the challenges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our books were approved for CBC grade 1, 2, and 3 by KICD, all of them. I think there are also 12 learning areas for CBC 1, CBC 2, CBC 3. Now, when we are developing these books, they went through what we call a rigorous process, where you have curriculum designs. We have to interpret them very well, being a new area, a new area. We've not been able to venture into this area before. Now you have to have competent authors and editors who can interpret the syllabus and the curriculum designs very well, and I'm happy KLB was able to do that. And so for CBC 1 to 3, which came in 2019, we had all our books approved, all of them are approved, and our customers are utilizing them. When it came to grade 4, I think we had the highest approval rating compared to the other publishers. I think we had 7 materials approved by KICD, and some for government, some for the open market. So the challenges, of course, are the normal challenges of piracy, people reproducing our books, and also the timelines given by KICD requiring us to develop the books. It's very short. And so we work overtime. The process is rigorous. We have to do a lot of cleanup. We have to do a lot of referencing. And this is what everybody else goes through. And the cost of developing these books is so expensive. Just throw yourself to a situation where some of the publishers were able to develop 12 materials. They submitted after spending so much to develop those materials, and none gets approved. None gets approved. How do you feel?
Right, now talking about COVID-19 since March, most companies suffered a very big blow in terms of making profits. What are you doing as an institution to ensure that you shed off the losses you made? Yeah.
One, you cannot shed off the losses because once water has gone under the bridge, you cannot recollect. You cannot recollect. So what we are doing is, how do we show up our revenue base as we start the new year? Now what we are trying to do is, one, want to see how best we can resharpen. We sharpen our marketing team. We resharpen our business development teams so that we develop new business streams for this institution, reach out to potential markets which were not there before in terms of our products, and then come up with new products which we have actually planned to develop based on the new SP.
Now, as one of the leading publishing institutions in the region, what makes you tick?
I can say one is the quality of our products. What makes us tick, actually, one is already we have an established brand in terms of our books. which have gained acceptance within the country and outside the country. We have some of the best renowned authors in this country. Every publisher is dying to have our authors. And so what we are trying to do is ensure that we ring-fence our authors to do KLB work. We've signed them off to do KLB alone, and also we are not mean people. We are not stingy people. We also take care of our others more than any other publisher. And so if everybody is envious of that feat of KLB, of retaining the best authors in the market. We have professors of English, professors of mathematics in this country, of science, who have signed to be with KLB for all this year. So we look forward to having exciting products going forward because of the others we have.
Now, let's look at the digital world, which is changing day in, day out.
Yes.
How is your publishing, how is your digital publishing desk doing?
Thank you very much. As an institution, we believe in technology. We believe in what we call technology integration. And we've started that process of ensuring that, one, we remain technologically relevant and up to date. And since the world is moving very fast, and there are so many platforms which are coming up, KLB has delved into constructing e-commerce platforms. And I'm happy to report to you that when we were launching our plan, we also launched what we call e-commerce store and our mobile app, which went live in October last year. And so what we are trying to do is now to see our best. We can reposition our products so that our customers are able to have that convenience in terms of delivery channels. Do you want to buy our books physically from our outlets, or you want to access our books and buy them online?
What don't we know about KLB?
There are so many things we don't know about KLB. One, KLB is the oldest publishing house, which was established in 1947. People may not be aware. Some of the great historians and the greatest materials about the Kenyan nation, some of the missionaries, some of the indigenous Kenyans who had gone to school in early 40s and early 50s, they have written so much about Kenya. And the journey of Kenya from 1912 all the way to Kenya attaining independence in 1963. So we have a depository of knowledge and literature about this country, which you cannot get anywhere else.
Thank you so much, Victor, for your time and for your interview. It's been very insightful. Yeah, knowing that this is the hub of the Kenyan history.
Yes.
And you control such a big market. Not so many people actually understand that.
You're right. You're right.
Okay, thank you. Hope to see you next time.
Yes.
That was Victor Lomaria earlier in the day telling us on what exactly they are planning to do in order to recoup the money they lost and the profits they lost during the 9-month break that students were not in school. Now, elsewhere, the State Department of Public Works Principal Secretary Major General retired Dr. Gordon Kihalangwa earlier today presided over the official opening of the Construction Research Dissemination Forum. In his address to the participants of the forum, Dr. Kihalangwa underscored the importance of research in the construction industry and subsequent dissemination of research findings to help information and public policy.
In this forum of the research which the National Construction Authority has been able to undertake, and there are 4 researches that they have been able to do, and the research can only become very relevant if when it's completed, it is disseminated. The National Construction Authority, which is the overall in the construction industry, has a responsibility. One, to ensure that those who are involved in constructions are competent and well-trained people. 2, the construction is also being done in the right manner and by the right people. The safety of those ones who are involved in the construction.
Right from Gordon Kihalangwa, we do close our business news of the day. Up next is sports news with Frederick Muitiriri, but Arsenal haters keep saying that we are still in page 2 of the English Premier League table. All that will be coming to you courtesy of Frederick Muitiriri, but they should just take care that next week we shall be coming to page 1 of the EPL table.
It has to be a dance, I'm telling you. Arsenal, yesterday we did things, yeah? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scored a brace as Arsenal is past a much-changed Newcastle to have more pressure on manager Steve Bruce. The Ghana's captain struck at the side of a Bukayo Saka goal as the host recorded a 3-0 victory, which sees them move into the top half of the Premier League table. Bruce made 8 changes from the side beaten by bottom club Sheffield United last week, but they were outplayed at the Emirates Stadium, where Mikel Arteta continues to oversee